This is 365 Media.
Good afternoon, folks. Robert Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365, with your daily update for Friday, December 3rd. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a happy Friday because the COVID news is not very good, as it hasn't been this whole week, really, has it? Let's see. First of all, let me just say that let's start with cases. Let's start with average number of new cases per day. 3,548. I believe that's the highest daily average of the year of 2021. Yep, it is. Back 2 weeks ago, like November 21st, our 7-day average was slightly over 300. I'm sorry, 3,000, but it hasn't been over 3,200, and now it's suddenly 3,548. Last time it was that high we're looking at about December 11th, 2020, so almost exactly a year ago. We're basically in terms of case average, we're basically caught up to where we were at this time last year. Last year, in 2020, our positive test rates and our daily average cases actually peaked in mid-November. Okay, so that's the difference between last year and this year. A couple of things different between last year and this year. Last year we were at 3,500 new cases per day, and about a 12 or 13% positive test rate right about this time, but on our way down. Right, all of our stats, all of our numbers peaked in mid-November, and we were by early to mid-December, we were on our way down to a much better situation. Today, we're back at those same levels as we were last December, but we're on our way up. Okay? I don't think we've peaked yet, and I don't know when we're going to peak. It's really, really hard to predict. It might be January and we'll turn around. It might be February. I don't know. We'll have to see. Our 7-day positive test rate, which is to say the number of tests that came back positive in the past 7 days, the percentage of all the tests that came back positive in that last 7 days, is 13.1%. That's very, very high. Yesterday, we reported it at 13.4%, but yesterday's total has actually been revised upward to 13.7%. Now, part of that is because looking at 7-day average, 3 of the past 7 days were basically holidays, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday last weekend was like Thanksgiving weekend. Not a lot going on, not a lot of testing happening. So lower numbers of tests, but more positive cases is going to push that percentage of positives up. It's not artificially up. It's just that's when you have less testing, more cases, like the percentage is higher. So I would hope that this week there'll be more testing, and that number will start to come down a little bit. I don't know if it will or not. We'll have to see. Another number that's bad. Then we'll talk about hospitalizations in a second. Hospitals are in bad shape. That's just no way around it. But our new death average per day. Yesterday it was 20 per day. Today it's 24. These are deaths reported per day. So it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get a death confirmed to be a COVID death, right? So what this means is it's likely that a month ago we had 24 people every day dying of COVID, and now we're just confirming them. So if our 1% fatality rate holds, which so far it has, for the most part, we would, a month from now, we'd be looking in the 35 deaths per day range, at least temporarily. Not great. All right, let's talk hospitalizations. We currently, the ICU population is actually down slightly, which is one little piece of good news, but it was up quite a bit yesterday. The total COVID-19 patients in Wisconsin hospitals right now, 1,457. That's up 11 from yesterday. Now, ICU patients are 393. That's 16 lower than yesterday. But I'm going to talk a little bit about ICU capacity, because there are 41 ICU beds available in the entire state of Wisconsin out of 1,331 normally available. So basically, with 393 people currently in ICUs because of COVID, 41 beds available, that means there should be, if there was no COVID right now, there'd be well over 400 ICU beds available in the state of Wisconsin. Right? Is that logical? Now, but that's across the entire state. Regionally, some regions are better off than others. For example, South Central Wisconsin, where Dane County is all the way, and South Central for the Wisconsin Hospital Association goes all the way down to Grant County, so it's kind of South Central and Southwest Wisconsin. In that region, there's 15 ICU beds available out of 260. There are 70 people in that region in ICU because of COVID. So out of those 260 ICU beds in that region, which is like 9 counties, there should be 85 beds available, but there's only 15. In Southeast Wisconsin, which includes Milwaukee and Racine and Kenosha, some of those larger cities, 549 ICU beds there, only 17 are available. Once you get out of those population centers, it gets worse. Northeast Wisconsin, where Green Bay is, there's 207 ICU beds, only 6 currently available. That's in Green Bay. That's the third largest city in Wisconsin. In the Fox Valley, just to the south and west of Green Bay, there's 104 ICU beds in that region. It's less populated, so you don't have as many big hospitals. You don't have as many ICU beds. 104 beds there, only 1 available. North Central Wisconsin, again, very rural, not really population centers there. 105 ICU beds in all of North Central Wisconsin, only 1 is available. Northwest Wisconsin, 72 ICU beds, only 1 is available. Western Wisconsin, Eau Claire, La Crosse, all the way down. There are 36 ICU beds in that entire region, and none of them are currently available. If you need intensive care in Western Wisconsin, they're going to have to move you somewhere else. That's not great. Sorry, I was looking at my numbers and not paying attention to comments. Bobby asks, why are people behaving and talking as if the pandemic is waning? People have been talking as if the pandemic is waning since April 2020. There's just denial. To be fair, we've had 2 periods where it actually was waning. Right? Much of the summer of 2020, before, like, July is when things got bad again. And then the summer of 2021, we were down to like less than 1% positive test rate in Wisconsin. And that felt good. And vaccines were available. People were getting vaccinated. So we're like at 1% positive test rate and everybody's getting vaccinated. This thing is done. We got it. And then people stopped getting vaccinated. Like, everybody who wanted to get vaccinated got vaccinated, and a whole bunch of other people didn't. And things went, wheep. So we've got this mindset, I think, that it was waning once before and it will again. it's denial is more than a river in Egypt, as they say, I guess. Phoebe asks, is the state going to set up overflow facility again? I've been looking into this. It doesn't seem that it's going to. Doesn't look like it. That overflow facility, we colloquially called it field hospital, which it sounds more dramatic, I guess, could have held 500 people in Milwaukee. It was near Milwaukee, at State Fair Park. The population there never got to be more than 20, which was lucky. Like we really kind of dodged a bullet there. We avoided a real crisis. The hospital population peaked at about 2,300 and then started to come down. So we never really needed that full capacity of that overflow facility, first of all. Secondly, it was funded with federal money, which isn't available anymore. So even though these hospital numbers are very concerning, it doesn't seem like there's going to be an overflow facility. Again, they're going to have to make other arrangements. They might have to, move people around, send people from Eau Claire to Milwaukee or whatever. I don't know. So that's where we are. With vaccinations, we are still moving. We're moving more than we were in like a couple months ago. 56.2% of us completely vaccinated. 59.1% have gotten at least one dose. And that is due in at least some measure to children being able to get vaccinated. Looks like we've had a good week on vaccinations. Wisconsin providers administered almost 24,000 doses just yesterday, which puts the 7-day average at 19,745. Again, the daily average for the week was down a little bit just because of the holiday, right? So even in the past 7 days, 3 of those days were Friday, Saturday, Sunday after Thanksgiving, and nobody's going to get vaccinated then. So this is back on the rise. It's near 20,000 per day again. That's bodes pretty well. I would expect, I would hope, but my fingers are crossed, that once the 5 to 11-year-old kids start getting their second dose, that the number of who are completed the series will start to move. Will appreciably start to move, and we'll get another % or 2 of the population done every few days. Because those 19,000 doses per day that we're giving includes boosters too, which don't really add to the totals. I see a couple of you, Margie and Jessica, mentioning that you've gotten boosted. I got boosted a couple of weeks ago. It was easy. It was, I was fine. It's kind of funny. I got it on a Monday afternoon. Tuesday morning, I was like, yeah, I'm surprised. I feel great. Like my second shot knocked me down for a day. My booster, like no effect at all. 9:00 in the morning, Tuesday, after getting it, I was like, I seriously feel great. By 9:30, I was out. And I slept for like 5 hours that day. But it was fine. But that was fine. That's fine. I can handle that. I can do that. I'd rather do that than get COVID even as a breakthrough, right? Okay, so that's the COVID situation. If you have any other questions, drop them in the chat there. We're going to take a short pause. We're going to hear from a sponsor. And then we have some more good news for you. We got 2 ways you can support the community this weekend and some football news. We'll be back right after this.
Apply yourself. At Madison College, we encourage you to be your truest self. You're a trendsetter. Whether it's the clothes you're wearing, the music you're listening to, or the new game you're playing, you're into it first. Friends and family seek your advice because you're a natural-born leader. For you, life is all about taking things to the next level. And at Madison College, we can't wait to see what you do. Apply yourself today.
All right, we are back. Thanks for joining us. The news today is mostly a couple of fundraisers you can get in on this weekend, right? GSafe, which is an organization that supports LGBTQ plus students in Wisconsin schools, is having its quilt auction. This is something that they started last year. I'm going to get that graphic off of there so you can see the whole quote because it's really cool looking. GSafe does an annual gala fundraising, an annual gala fundraiser rather. And last year they did a pandemic pivot and they just auctioned off quilts and masks online. At this time last year, they had 150 people volunteer and donate quilts, and they made about $20,000 from it. And so they're doing this again this year. The auction is online and it's running now, but it ends on Monday afternoon. Okay, so if you want to get in on this and support GSafe, you can do that now. If you go to Madison365.org, you can get the information there. Angela Usury has that story for us, and it's got the links there for you to get involved, as well as what the money goes for and all that. The other thing you can get involved in this weekend is at the DoubleTree Hotel, downtown Madison. It's the Wisconsin Women of Color Network, and they have it's a day-long fundraiser from like 9 to 4. It's all day long. Sort of a holiday spectacular event. Lots of activities, lots of fun stuff, and lots of ways for you to support the Wisconsin Women of Color Network, which is a really important group of folks supporting each other here in Madison and mostly South Central Wisconsin. Finally today, Forward Madison FC, which I talk about occasionally on here, has a new head coach, Matt Glazer. Has been tapped. He was he's a goalkeeper by trade. He's most recently assistant coach at Sacramento Republic in the second division of U.S. soccer. He was also an assistant coach and goalkeepers coach at Real Salt Lake in Major League Soccer for 4 seasons. He replaces Carl Craig, who was let go after the last season was just rather disappointing results. I talked to him today. You can the article from my interview with him is up on the site now, Madison365.org. And if you want to, you can listen to the entire interview on the Talkin' Flock podcast, which will be out Monday morning. We have a special edition of that podcast for you. Matt, I talked to him. He said there's going to be definitely a core of returning players. He's not going to completely shake up the lineup, but there will be some new faces as well. And he wants to. The one quote that I really liked from him is that I asked about style of play. Like what kind of tactics they're going to use, and what he said is sometimes you have to be nasty. You got to get in people's faces and step on their toes. These are actual quotes. So that sounds like a fun style to watch. And he's hoping to take what they've built off the field. They've got this reputation as a really cool club. Got the cool shirts and the cool Twitter feed and all that stuff off the field. He's going to try to translate that on the field and try to win some games. Also, I'll note both of the previous head coaches have been roughly my height. New coach, 6'5". So my post-match interviews will be a little bit awkward, perhaps. All right, that's the news for today. One more thing I'll mention. All this news is very important. Obviously, the new football coach, the new soccer head coach, is the most important news of the day. Right? You can't get by without that. No, seriously, to get this COVID news, obviously, to be informed is very important. And it has been through this entire pandemic. But also, those couple of fundraisers, you're not going to see anything about those fundraisers in any other press, really, probably. Like those are the things, those are the neighborhood, the grassroots stuff that we highlight, we amplify, we lift up. And we do that for free for you, right? And we do that for free for whoever needs it, right? And we want you to be informed. But it's not free for us, right? I mean, Angelica is a really strong professional journalist. She's a freelancer for us. So every time she writes something for us, we pay her and we pay well, right? Because we want professional journalism, right? I have a salary. Our Dave Dowmer has a salary. He wrote that Wisconsin Women of Color Network. But you guys need we need you to help us do this and to keep it free for everybody. Right? Because it's not free for us. It's free for you. And we never charge you for it. That's the whole point here. We never want to charge money for the news because you need it. Like, I can't say, like, we're going to provide you this thing that's really important for you, but make you pay for it. This is not how a nonprofit news organization works usually. But it costs us money to produce it. So if you can, we'd invite you to join the FAM, our new membership program. You can, it's as low as $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month, whatever you can do. And right now, there's this program called News Match from the Institute for Nonprofit News, where everything you give us gets doubled for the whole year. Right? You come in for $5 a month, they'll give us $60 more. You come in for $10 a month, they'll give us $120 more than what you're giving us. So now's the time. If you're thinking about it, if you like Madison 365, you like local nonprofit community center journalism and news, this show's always going to be free. You can tune in anytime, watch this show, read all the articles, whatever you got to do. But if you join the FAM, you can feel a little bit of ownership in it. So that's my pitch for today. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back Monday with more info for you, and we'll hope that the news is better. I'm not super optimistic that the COVID news is better. So get your vaccine, wear your mask, keep your distance, do all that stuff we've been doing. And we will be back Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.
This is 365 Media.